Hi, I'm Mia Contreras, and I'll be discussing the critical issues that minority youth face within the criminal justice system. It is crucial to understand these issues have a profound impact on individuals involved, their families, and society as a whole. So let's get started. In the United States, youth of color are overrepresented and face disproportionate challenges at every stage of the juvenile justice system. In particular, African American and Hispanic youth are more likely than white youth to be detained, arrested, and processed throughout the system. Although white youth represent the highest rate of adolescent population, youths of color are represented in various factors that contribute to this overrepresentation. In the article, Exploring Disproportionate Minority Contact in the Juvenile Justice System over the year following first arrests, researchers found that the overrepresentation is caused by differences in the profiling, and processing of minorities by law enforcement officials, courts, and correctional systems. Furthermore, it can be due to the socioeconomic disparities that most minorities face in the United States. Because of the overrepresentation, minority youths have significant implications, including perpetuating stereotypes and stigmas, undermining trust in the justice system, and contributing to cycles of poverty and criminality. However, minority youth are not only overrepresented in the juvenile justice system as offenders, but also as victims of crime. Racial and ethnic differences in the juvenile victimization and offending rates are influenced by family and community characteristics. According to the Color of Justice, Race, Ethnicity, and Crime in American textbook, African American and Hispanic youth are more likely to be victims of violent crime due to spending more time away from home, living in single-parent households, and residing in disadvantaged communities. From the Juvenile Justice Bulletin, the graph illustrates how adolescent risk for neighborhood violence is related to the overall level of socioeconomic disadvantage in their community. Their risk increases when the relationship between the types of families and types of communities in which adolescents live in, and whether family circumstances are more important in some kinds of communities than others. Thus, minority adolescents are at higher risk for most physically harmed forms of violence. They reported to have higher exposure of experiences due to violence in the childhood than white adolescents. Minority youth often face challenges in their interactions with law enforcement. According to the textbook, low-income juveniles are more on the streets than adults, which leads to frequent interactions with police. African American juveniles are also affected by age and race, two factors that contribute to the most negative attitudes towards police officers among both youth and African Americans. Thus leads to less favorable attitudes with law enforcement. Yet it's also contributed to the discriminatory policies that officers practice by racially profiling minority youths. They are more likely to be targeted and arrested based on race or ethnicity, leading to overrepresentation in the system. These interactions can contribute to negative perceptions of law enforcement, such as the lack of trust, which leads to reluctance to seek help or cooperate with law enforcement. Furthermore, the fear of police brutality, which may lead to the behaviors that increase the likelihood of arrest, such as avoiding interactions with law enforcement or resisting arrest out of fear. Overall, this can result in more confrontational interactions and higher likelihood of arrest and processing. As Donna Black stated in the textbook, the demeanor of a suspect significantly affects arrest rates. From the Office of Juvenile Justice and Delinquency Prevention represents the juvenile arrest rates of 2020, which goes to show that African Americans and other minority youths have higher arrest rates than whites. According to the article, Exploring Disproportionate Minority Contact in the Juvenile Justice System over the year following first arrests, researchers found that Black youth typically receive more restricted sentences and are more often formally charged than white peers regardless of offense prior record, with referrals to juvenile court being 3 times more likely for Black youth than for white youth. Minority youth in the juvenile justice system are disproportionately subjected to harsher treatment and sentencing, often attributed to judges' use of extra-legal characteristics like race, reflecting class and race biases, and attribute their crimes to internal rather than external causes. The Sentencing Project shows that Black youth were 4.7 times as likely to be placed in juvenile facilities as to their white peers, vastly more likely to be incarcerated and be held. This goes to show the disparity between Blacks and whites. Thus, the disparity treatment among youth can have long-term consequences, affecting their educational and employment opportunities. The Big Brother Big Sister Youth Program is a mentoring program where it fosters positive relationships between adult volunteers, called Bigs, and the youth individuals, called Littles. The program operates on the belief that meaningful one-to-one relationships can have a significant impact on the lives of young individuals. The mission of the program is to empower the youth to reach their full potential through supportive mentorship that can contribute to their personal, academic, and social development. The Big Brother Big Sister program relies on the government funding from the U.S. Department of Justice, Office of the Juvenile Justice and Delinquency Prevention. The program also receives funding through other company partnerships, donations, and grants. As a result of the financial support, it allows the youth to continue providing mentorship services to the youth, those with diverse backgrounds. The program has evidence-based research, showcasing evaluations of its outcomes. Research findings from the National Institute of Justice have found a notable reduction in the likelihood of participating young individuals developing antisocial behavior, such as being involved in drug or alcohol use. Moreover, youths are more likely to enhance their academic performances and cultivate higher quality relationships with their peers and family. The youth program also yields positive long-term outcomes, significantly impacting the lives of many young individuals into their adulthood, influence their career success and future. While the program demonstrates overwhelmingly positive outcomes, one potential negative outcome lies in the lack of compatibility between the mentor and the youth individual. This mismatch has the potential to adversely impact the emotional well-being of the youth involved in the mentoring program. I discovered the Big Brother Big Sister Youth Mentoring Program during my high school years when I became a participant as a little in the program. My involved experience sparked my interest, prompted me to explore the official website where I uncovered detailed information about the program's mission, funding source, and positive outcomes. Some reform recommendations I would include to enhance the effectiveness of the program is by implementing mentoring training focused on skills such as active listening and provide support through unique challenges faced by youths. Furthermore, there should be more awareness of the program that can encourage more adults to volunteer and youths to participate. By expanding the program and receiving more comprehensive training, it could benefit for a more diverse range of backgrounds and foster better compatibility relationships between mentors and youths. In conclusion, I found my information through the researching the disparities among minority youth within the juvenile justice system. Reforming the juvenile justice system is crucial to ensure fair and equitable treatment for all youths, regardless of race or background. It's important to address racial disparities in sentencing and detention practices through policy changes and training programs for criminal justice officials. The system should consider alternatives to incarceration, such as community-based programs or restorative justice practices. It should also improve access to victim support services for minority youth, including counseling or financial support to strengthen community-based initiatives to prevent victimization. In addition, community policing strategies should be expanded in more marginalized communities to build trust and improve relationships between minority youth and law enforcement. In the article, Community Policing in Danish, Ghetto Areas, Trust and Distrust Between Police and Ethnic Minority Youth. From embedding these practices, officers from the study have pointed out how engaging in relationship and dialogue-oriented policing present an opportunity for reducing the level of conflict between the police and ethnic minority youth in these neighborhoods. They explained that continually having a presence in the neighborhood and getting to know people, they were able to resolve most conflicts without resorting to the use of force. The officers in the study were also convinced that building relationships with local young people would enhance the latter experience of getting fair treatment and being able to present themselves in a more relaxed and non-confrontational manner. Thank you for listening, and here are my references.